Okay, we'll call Public Works to order. We will start out with item 31, ordinance 2024-0002, ordinance to allow Board of Public Works to approve wider driveways in commercial areas. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. We brought this forward because we discovered kind of a glitch in the ordinance, in the code. It was brought forward because of development, the new Makers Row over there on 60th and 66th and National. They needed a wider driveway. It went through planning, but it wasn't really flagged as being over the 30-foot limit. And in a commercial area, you can't have it. You can only, the board can only approve a wider driveway in an industrial district. But as West Allis moves forward and starts redeveloping some of these smaller lots with more dense development, we think it would be appropriate to allow, pending, given the Board of Public Works opportunity to review and approve, the possibility for commercial districts to also have driveways wider than 30 feet. In this specific case, they needed 2 loading docks for the multitude of restaurants and other businesses that are going to be there. And given the way the lot configures, they have to put them right next to each other. So, but we can't ask you to approve something you don't have authority to do. So we need to amend the ordinance so that you can have that review and approval process for you.
Any discussion?
Will we do that on a case-by-case basis?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Then we have item 32, resolution 2024-0060, resolution naming street to be constructed between South 60th Street and the eastern terminus, back to my Greek class, of West Washington Street, approximately 1,450 feet east of east right-of-way line of South 70th.
Mr. Chair,
Alderperson Fisher.
I think this is a great opportunity that we get to name a street. I'm pretty excited about this. But going to logistics and the proposal of the mapping that we have, there is no continuity when it comes to the new street going into an existing street, which is Washington Street. And I think we discussed this before. I think it would make most sense that we take away Washington Street's name and have one solid name for this entire drive area. And I was looking at some of the suggestions. I know I brought up Chalmers and the fact that that's such a historical district and area. In fact, Summit Place is part of Chalmers, and I would like to make a motion to name it Chalmers Way.
I will second that, Mr. Chair, because I came up with the same name, ironically, when we were discussing it, and we thought it would be a historical aspect because of Alice Chalmers.
Sure.
Pay tribute to this wonderful industry that was in our community a very long time.
Right.
And provided work for a huge number of people in our community as far as I remember.
Oh, absolutely. Engineering has no, it's whatever, the board and the council want. We just try to think of suggestions spanning a wide range of thought processes. So as long as it's not streety McStreet face, I'm very happy. So.
And Mr. Chair, if I may add, one of the concerns that I had out of the gates were existing businesses on Washington Street. So I did consult Attorney Decker on that and got some input that it's not out of the ordinary or not commonplace, like when MLK Drive was renamed and whatnot, that businesses are impacted by it. So I think just for the sake of continuity and that suggestion from engineering, that it would make most sense to just keep this one stretch altogether. That's all.
Young man in the background has a question. You, sir.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I guess this is going faster than I expected. I didn't know we were naming this evening.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But I guess I was intending on talking to the Historical Commission and Devin Graciani specifically to see if we could get more history of that neighborhood. I know this has been talked about since Governor Walker and Secretary Gottlieb,
Oh.
because this was initially when they were going to redo 94 and they were going to do 60th Street closed completely, and then they were going to do half 60th Street, and then so we had talked at the time because of the Renaissance Place being right there, and they had just at the time added 590 jobs. We were talking about calling it Renaissance Way. Obviously, that is kind of a moot point now, but I thought we were going to. I think we have opportunities to possibly work with a school group, or I thought this was. And
I'm so
sorry if I misread something.
No, I'm sorry.
No, I'm not blaming you.
Okay.
It's on me. But I did not know we were.
I-
We were just discussing.
In my notes,
That was my misunderstanding.
my notes had survey, like we survey the city for everything.
Well, and we could do a survey, or we could try to work with an elementary school class.
And then
or
who's driving the name of this? The DOT or
The
West
DOT,
Dallas?
they want
they need a name.
Why?
Because they're moving forward in the plan preparation, and so as they require right away, as they prepare the plans, it can't just be new street anymore. And they will pick a name if we don't, but I think if we want to table this, and have more discussion, and maybe reach out to the Historical Society, I think we could go till the first meeting in March, and, I think DOT will be okay with that.
So it would be aimed to be determined from 70th to 60th, correct?
Well, the DOT is only constructing the part from where Washington ends
Right, but
now.
the name would be,
The goal would be to have one continuous name.
and then east of 60th, it goes back to Washington.
Well, it does, nothing, no street lines up with it.
Here, you want to
It
take a look
dead
at
ends
the
at
map?
the old Roosevelt
May I look
School.
again, please?
Sure.
It dead ends at where Roosevelt used to be.
Okay.
And on the west end, it starts at across the parking lot for MATC. So it's kind of in nowhere.
Mr. Chair, if I may, we did have a discussion on this at another meeting, and that's why it's listed as resolution naming street to be constructed. That's on our agenda tonight. So if there was some miscommunication, I know that I received correspondence, and we as a committee, I believe, did, on suggestions that have already been thrown out there for names. Because if we look back at that meeting, I think there was Liberace Lane, there was Chalmers Street.
West Dallas.
Yeah, exactly. So forgive me, Mayor Devine, if I'm confused, but if there is a timeline that this has to be named, I mean, there's no bigger history in that district, in that area, than Chalmers was.
And I don't disagree with that at all.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were getting a motion out of tonight's meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not opposed per se to say, okay, let's get a student group together or the Historical Society, but I mean, Charles P. Alice was the first there. I mean, we could name it Charles P. Alice Way if we're really paying homage. I think that we're forgetting in some instances the history of the city, and I think there's a big call for our residents to remember that. So as much as we have progress, we also have to honor, as Alderwoman Ranky said, that's my opinion. Mm-hmm. So I am greatly invested in it being Chalmers Way.
That's
So-
all I had.
So do
Okay.
we want to
Well, we got a
withdraw?
There's a
It's up to
motion-
you. There's
There's a motion on the table.
Understood.
There was a second.
So there was a motion and a second. So
Didn't know that.
if
What
you
is
guys
the motion for
That's
again?
gonna
to
be Chalmers
approve
Way.
for Chalmers Way.
You're the policymakers.
Yeah, no, I wish we would hold this seriously, but.
Well, you have the opportunity to do so if it gets killed among the three remaining
Okay.
votes.
All right.
So if you want to kill it, kill it. I'm still going to vote yes.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No.
Okay, 3-2. And it still has to go to council floor, so And if I may just, I know it's a discussion point after the fact, it would be great to have better communication with us as a committee so that we are aware if there was some other additional, background to naming a street. Obviously, this is something that we don't get very often, if ever. So it was a pretty big honor for us as a committee and council to do that. But I don't want to take away, Mayor Devine, you having that participation with the community as well.
Okay, we'll talk.
Thank you.
Item 33, Resolution 2024-0069, resolution renaming West Washington Street between 70th Street and its eastern terminus.
That's what we just did.
I know, well,
Well, we took it as two resolutions in case.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
To give the most flexibility and opportunity to the council and to the board.
okay,
To
gotcha.
approve.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Don't apologize.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned.
Public Safety Committee comes to order. Item 35, 02-024-0004, ordinance to exempt operator's license application from 6-month waiting period after denial. Attorney Decker, would you like to take the floor on this?
Sure. Let's find my spot in the agenda here. So what this ordinance would do is just specifically for operators' licenses, which are currently, if you're denied a license, you cannot reapply within 6 months. This would allow people to apply immediately after that. And the issue basically is there's a different standard for operators' licenses. It's a shall issue license. And if someone does not appear, they might get denied for a non-substantive basis. They may just not have the opportunity to show that there's evidence of rehabilitation. This will allow them to reapply. They do have to pay the fee and go through the process, but at least they get a second shot within the 6 months.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
it also will not require us to continually reschedule, which has been, if the committee chooses to just do the denial at the first stage, because many of the times people won't come
Right.
the second or the third time also. And the license fee is for all of the administrative costs that we incur
Right,
through
and
the process.
thank you. And I had approached Attorney Serwin, so I thank him as well as Ms. Grill and Attorney Decker for kind of coming up with this plan going forward. I think it's reasonable to say, and one of the things that I guess bothered me a little bit as a committee member is that we are not using our resources wisely. If you go to court, for example, and this is a hearing, for example, and you don't show, why are we automatically giving a second shot when there's no communication or otherwise? I can see if it's an error on our end. However, I don't think we should just automatically be giving grace, especially if somebody doesn't, take their time to contact us. So that's the only thing I have on it. I think it's a great idea, and I hope that we get a motion on this for approval. So,
Motion to approve.
Approve.
oh, look at that. Okay, there's
I was waiting for
three
somebody to-
motions on the floor to approve. I'll give that to Ray. And the second would be,
I'll second it.
okay, Tracy. So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. So we go to item 36, R 2024-0059, resolution to establish a multiple municipal local health department called the Southwest Suburban Health Department, acronym SWSHD, jointly with the city of Greenfield. Do we need to have Bob or Ashley come forward and talk about that? I think we already did.
I can weigh in a little bit. This
Okay.
was on both committee agendas tonight, just for
Okay.
discussion. And in the other committee, there was a request to at least hold on the item for a little bit, just because we don't have all the details worked out yet on the contract. But in general, the administration committee expressed a desire to consolidate services and move forward with this, at least in concept. They did express some concerns on the financial side of it, though, as far as how it's being funded. Right now, just West Allis and Greenfield would be the two parties that form this multiple municipal local health department. That health department would then also provide services to the village of West Milwaukee as the West Dallas Department currently does. But the only two parties would be West Dallas and Greenfield. We just have those few details to work out, and we have some guidance from the administration committee on how to work out the finances. Happy to get into it here if you'd like. Otherwise, we can bring back this item on a future agenda.
Why don't we bring this back?
Sure.
Is everybody in favor of that?
Yeah.
Do we need a motion for that, or is?
You
Okay.
can just, no, it's fine.
I have
Okay.
to say though, Ms. Chairman,
Yes.
the board did approve of this at the last meeting
Oh, I did.
as
Okay.
well.
Board of Health.
Yes.
The Board of Health, okay.
Yeah.
So really, we just need to work out those details of finances. So I think it would make sense to wait, just so we get all those details. Is that gonna put anything behind?
No, and I think we're gonna do it at the committee of the whole, is that okay? And then
Yeah.
we can have it
Okay.
committees again.
All right.
For voting.
Okay, so we'll hold 36. 37, 2024-0079, appointment by Mayor Devine of Michelle, and I want to make sure, Sutton or Sutton? Sutton. Thank you. On the Police and Fire Commission for a 5-year term to expire February 6, 2029. Welcome, Mayor Devine and Ms. Sutton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you probably saw my email, we had one commissioner step away before the end of his term because of a health concern. So I had an application from Mrs. Suttonen, and we talked on the phone. I read it over. I found her to be very qualified for the position. So I just want to do the introduction, and then if you have any questions, I'm sure she would be happy to answer them.
Okay, well, first of all, I thank you very much for stepping up and wanting to volunteer for this position. So there's too few that do that nowadays, so I really appreciate that. I personally know what you have been doing in the community. I don't know if any of the other alders are familiar, but if you'd like to just give us a quick overview of what your desire was to volunteer for this position, we'd appreciate that.
Well, currently I'm the Vice President of Crime Stoppers, and I went through the Citizens Police Academy and learned a lot of what's going on in West Dallas. And with my background of 25 years of fraud investigations, interviews, interrogations, hiring, mentoring people, when this, I brought it up to you and I said, I applied for this and was there an opening? So to me, my passion is law enforcement. It is safety and security of the community. I'm open to any questions that somebody might have, but I've been a resident for 19 years, and I'm currently trying to get the La Follette Park Neighborhood Association started. So I'm just, getting involved and really look forward to this position.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions from anyone else?
Madam Chair,
Alderwoman Ranky.
first of all, I'd like to commend you for your service to our community. It's wonderful, as our chair has alluded to, you do a fine job. My question was, after looking at the criteria, you might say, for this job, qualifications, where were you employed?
When was I employed?
Where were you
Where were I
employed?
I was employed with Shopco and retail as a loss prevention, worked my way up to management. Then I was Trust Solutions as I started that department for the fraud department for mutual fund fraud. And then I worked with Medicare fraud investigations. So I have a variety of the background. And with the retail, I was in charge of safety and security for the building, responding to bomb threats, training loss prevention employees on how to spot shoplifters and look for dishonest employees and to reduce shrink at the company. So
It isn't very often that we have a person of your caliber, you might say, with those qualifications. So I really,
and I did go to school for police science, and I think about you can read about police science or you could experience it. And my progression through my employment was learning, asking questions, and wanting to better
Wonderful.
myself.
thank you.
Anyone else? Go ahead.
I just want to say, Michelle and I we met by going through the academy together, And one of the things I was very impressed by what you did, you asked a whole lot of questions, and you really you showed up for every meeting, and I appreciated that, and they showed that you really cared about your neighborhood. So, especially that and the other things that you and I have been talking about over this last year. So thank you, and I'm very happy to. When I found out it was you, I was very happy to hear that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else?
So I move to approve if
Okay.
there's no other
Second.
Okay.
comments.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We're all set. Thank you. Motion carries. Item 38, 2024-0043, new operator's license, bartender. Class D operator application for Dale Whittick Jr. First appearance. Is Mr. Whittick Jr. here? Okay. Is there a motion?
I move to deny on base that this is his
It's a motion
first
to,
appearance.
for,
His first appearance?
yeah, non-appearance.
Non-appearance?
To prove his rehabilitation. That would
Yes.
be the motion?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Does that make sense as it
No,
was
what's the
said?
motion?
The motion is to deny based on non-appearance for ability to show competent rehabilitation, I believe. It's not just going to be for non-appearance,
Second.
if I'm correct.
Yeah, so the reason that the person's on the list is because there's some sort of conviction record for the committee to consider. And if the person doesn't show up to present evidence of rehabilitation, the committee really can't find there to be rehabilitation. So I would suggest that's the motion based on conviction record and insufficient evidence of rehabilitation. Since the committee adopted the ordinance earlier tonight, this person would be eligible to reapply immediately if he or she wants, but it would also prevent the second occurrences from happening.
Okay.
I seconded it.
Okay. There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 39, 2024-0009, 2023-25, new operator's license, bartender Class D operator application for Doreen Gaster. Is Miss Gaster here? Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion to deny,
Basis
based on the failure to appear.
and insufficient evidence of
Yes.
rehabilitation.
Yes.
Sorry.
Thank you.
That's okay, it's new.
It's
All right,
new,
there's
yeah.
a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Item 40, 2024-0019, 2023-25, new operator's license, bartender Class D operator application for Joshua Coleman. Second appearance is Mr. Coleman here. Hi, Mr. Coleman, please come forward. Thank you for being patient. This was a little bit of a lengthy meeting. And you heard from Attorney Decker when he stated that, obviously, when you're called over to our committee, there's things on your record that are flagged that we would like some evidence of rehabilitation or go over some of these things to let us know what you have done in the meantime to show us that.
Yes. So when I talked to the attorney, he informed me that I had a warrant since 2018 for child support
Okay.
that I did not know of because child support still take, without my check. But I went through the court. I went down to the courthouse. I paid for the warrants. I got all 3 lifted. So I still have to deal with the child support case, but my warrants are lifted right now. I do have evidence of that if you want to see it.
Okay, has that been verified?
I can confirm that, and our advice would be then to approve this license.
Okay, all right. With that being said, I appreciate you waiting so long to be heard. Is there a motion?
Motion approved.
Okay, motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion carries,
All right,
thank you.
thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Second.
Okay, motion to adjourn, there's a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Wasn't that guy in the end?